We're going to talk right now with the chairman of the Cliburn. That's Carla Thompson. We're so happy to have you here today, Carla.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I've always wondered, how long have you been involved in the Cliburn just as a volunteer, as the treasurer? I mean, you've sort of followed a trajectory, haven't you?
Yes, and I'll kind of hit the high points and even go back further than that.
Good.
But I've been on the board since '99, I believe.
Which was the first year of this competition,
Yes,
of the amateur competition.
it was. And then I became treasurer, I think, in 2006. So I've been on the cabinet for a while, and then came in as chairman in 2011. But my first association with the Cliburn was as a host family.
Oh, wow.
In '73.
Who did you keep?
We kept Kazimir Gatev
wow.
from Bulgaria.
Wow.
And he spoke no English.
So how did that work? How did that?
It was okay.
Did you sign? Did you point at things?
Well,
did you?
I'm embarrassed to admit that we relied on high school French from my sister.
Well, that's
My
good.
sister and
That's
I.
good.
So we had an excuse to use, but use the language, and that was kind of how we met in the middle. And by the time he left, he could speak a little more English.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You know,
was fun.
I've always been fascinated by the relationship of host families to competitors in
Yes.
Fort Worth, because it doesn't end when those 2 weeks end. Those are long-lasting
That's exactly
relationships
right.
forever. I think just of the chairman of our jury this time,
Yeah.
Olga Karen, and her
Yes.
host family, Susie Williams,
Yes.
they've stayed in contact
yes.
forever.
So many have, and with our location and these performers going everywhere, very often they stop in DFW on their way from New York to LA or wherever, and it's a nice stopover.
And those become lifelong relationships.
Lifelong,
It seems
absolutely.
like
It's fabulous.
We're proud of that, I
Yes,
think,
yes.
here in Fort Worth. Now, you play the piano a little bit yourself. I
Yes.
know this because I have played the piano with you at a Cliburn gala. Carla and I were 2 of 6 pianists who played at the Cliburn gala. How many years ago was that? 3 years ago, maybe?
Yes, I think it was. 3.
And we played Stars and Stripes Forever.
Yes, it
So,
was so fun.
do you think your piano background, and you do have a piano background, really,
Yes.
does that inform your work as the chairman of the Cliburn? Does it contribute to your passion for the Cliburn?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. And thanks to that off-the-cuff performance at the gala a couple of years ago, I have started practicing.
Oh, is that right?
And so, you know, I can certainly sympathize with our amateur artist here, because anyone that plays an instrument knows what it takes to practice and bring your skills up to speed to perform in public, and
Absolutely.
it's not easy.
I
admire them all.
I read a lot in these biographies of these contestants at this particular competition that this is what inspires them to
Yes.
really bring their A game, to really get back to practicing, or that they've been to an amateur competition or to our professional competition,
Right.
or they've seen the film that was made about the amateur competition,
They
or
came to
one of our
play.
professional
Yes.
films, and that has inspired them
Yeah.
to get back to the piano. So how do you find time
I
to
don't.
practice? You're
Well,
still a busy professional.
I don't have time, and I was doing pretty well for a while, and then I had another thing come up, adding to my duties. But in a couple of months, I hope to be doing a little more again.
Because you've worked in the financial industry so long, so
Yes.
I would think that your days start very early in that industry.
Every day's a full day.
So you can't exactly practice at 4 a.m., I guess.
No,
You could.
I think when I was doing the Oompa part to the Sousa piece, it was about 5 every day.
Oh, yeah?
That I had to, when I squeezed that in. So it's not easy to squeeze that in.
Took some discipline then.
Yes.
So in terms of the international reach of the Cliburn, that's important to us.
Yes.
It seems like. For instance, we have competitors from 18 countries here, and we're hoping to reach we're hoping to cast a sort of wide net. How important is
Yeah.
that in general for the Cliburn in its everyday activities?
Well,
We're always looking toward that.
It is important in that our mission is to enhance music, classical music, throughout the world, and it's not just locally, it's not just nationally, and it is an international reach, because for years it's been international from the competitors that come here, and then the screening auditions, we have the opportunity to be in major cities, and people come to hear people there. So it's very it's very important. And for us to expand our reach musically as well as financially outside of this area is becoming a real necessity.
And of course, we can also, with the advent of the internet and certain tools, we can
Yes.
stream internationally,
Yes,
which we're
yes.
doing right
No,
now.
I think
of course.
these webcasts have been very successful in tying people in. The data is that people not only listen, they listen for hours, and it's something that obviously is a need, or people would not be online as much and participating.
Do you think that in working with a board as you do and you're so good at, do you think that the people of Fort Worth see the Cliburn as a local entity or a national entity or an international entity, or is it all three of those? Is that one of our best things?
I think it's all of it. I really do. And then tying into the people in Fort Worth, Fort Worth really views it as a community event, in that volunteers have participated with the Cliburn since its beginning in '62, and it really was volunteer initiated, volunteer run, and so that's why the volunteers have been so important.
I'm glad you touched on that, because for the professional competition there are 1,200 volunteers,
Right.
or roughly, and even in this competition we have many volunteers
Yes.
helping us out.
Yes.
I've always been sort of fascinated by that spirit of volunteerism in Fort Worth. It
Yes.
seems so easy to get, well, to an outsider anyway, it seems so easy to get people on board to volunteer at the Cliburn.
Well, it's interesting in that I think Fort Worth thinks of themselves as a very hospitable place, and when you have an international event and you have so many people coming in town for these events, people want to help entertain them. They want to make them feel welcome. They want them to feel at home. They want them to come back. I mean, it's really an interesting community spirit.
And they come, yeah, it really is, isn't it? And people do come back again,
Yes.
and again and again. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Are you going to travel? You know, sometimes the chairman has traveled in screening
Yes.
cities for the professional competition.
Some
We're
of
not
them
talking
have
about it.
traveled a lot,
Right,
and I
right.
have not had the luxury of doing
Right.
that.
Are you going to get to this?
But
time?
I've been to New York a couple of times, and I hope to do London this next January, and we'll see. But
Good.
it takes time.
Fantastic. Well, maybe Carla, sometime after you practice a little bit more, then you'll enter the next edition of the amateur
I
competition. or
doubt it.
something like
I
that.
love coming to hear them, and we'll continue on that level.
But you've already had your great debut now at a Cliburn
yes, at a Cliburn event.
gala.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us,
You bet.
Carla.
Thank you, Betty.